At the suggestion of MBA Public Affairs Director Fallon Taylor, I am here to film an mPower moment with my daughter, Emily Davies. Emily, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I know your journey, but would you share with the mPower community your career journey?
Yes, absolutely. So I have been working with Freddie Mac now for 11 years. I started actually in conferences and events. And one of the things that I learned when we were doing minute meetings, listening to some client suggestions, I heard a lot of challenges that kept coming up, and I really wanted to move closer into the business, and I wanted to help solve some of those problems that kept coming up in the industry. So after about 3 years with events, I switched into sales, and I have been there ever since.
And so you're doing well, you enjoy your job.
Yes.
Have you ever faced adversity while doing any jobs that you've done? I know as your mom, you also had jobs in college and you had jobs in high school. So have you ever faced adversity?
Yes, I have. Great question. So there, on email signatures, we have to put headshots. And there was an instance with a new client that I was working with a gentleman, and they were asking some questions about, pricing and wanting to work with the relationship a little bit, and they made a comment about my physical appearance, and their comment was along the lines of, "You look more attractive than the rep we have at another shop, so that will earn you more business." And at first it took me a minute. It was probably the first time that someone was that direct in their sexism. And it caught me off guard for a minute. I wondered if I was being too sensitive. I raised it to my manager at the time, who was quite supportive, and I just had to say, I'm a little uncomfortable. I know I haven't done anything wrong, but I'm afraid of the perception. I'm afraid that, a comment like that, if I were to stay working the account, could get me into some hot water. So unfortunately, I had to be removed from a potential opportunity just because of that. But thankfully, my management did support me in that, which was wonderful.
That's great. It speaks a lot to your manager to know that they don't want to put you in an uncomfortable position like that. It's hard because that's an imbalance of power when you have a customer. And so I'm very proud of your manager, and I'm always proud of you.
Thank you. And it was in the beginning of my sales career, so you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to be the person that's raising their hand with a problem. But it was a very big learning experience.
Yeah, and it worked out for you. How have mentors helped shape your career?
So I have a great one. You might know her. Her name is Marcia. But mentors are phenomenal. Sometimes I can come off a little strong-willed, and so one of the benefits that mentors have really helped with is when I have a challenge, I have a frustration, it allows me to vent sometimes the initial knee-jerk reaction, and I've been very fortunate with the mentors that I've worked with that have helped me really understand what the problem is and how to frame it in a way where I can get support but still get the point across without upsetting anyone. And then of course, what I'll always say to you is thank you for showing me how to smash the glass ceiling. You've given me the hammer, and your legacy is incredible. I love hearing about it. I love everyone who tells me you've changed their life. You've changed mine, obviously.
Aww,
but
that's so sweet. You're not going to feel as great when I tell a story before I ask a question. So,
okay.
Other than the time I stopped you from going out the front door to work with wet hair, what is the best piece of career advice you've ever received?
So that was a difficult pill to swallow, although it is you had quite a good point there, but it is actually from you. And the best piece of advice that I've gotten, it's sort of twofold. The first is to always be authentic. And I think it's an underrated skill because when you are authentic, your intentions speak for themselves. So even if you don't get it right, people know you were trying to. And for me, that's been something that has stuck with me for my career. And then the second piece is send the elevator back down. And so I'm still working on climbing that ladder to have an elevator to send back down. But as I'm doing that, I make sure that I recognize, elevate, promote those around me with positivity, give credit where credit is due, and really elevate everyone else that I work with as well, because you are not successful without the support of everyone around you.
Well, I am grateful to Fallon for suggesting this, and I'm so thankful that you agreed to sit down with me. Thanks,
Yes,
Emily.
of course. Love you, and I'm very proud of you.
Love you too.